So we're going to install SUSE Manager here. So we're going to run that setup command. And we're going to set it up from scratch and configure with an email address here. And you see how they put all those weird characters in there, all those A's. I don't know what that's about, but it really messed me up going through this. I didn't know what that was, and I was trying to delete them. Just leave it be. Leave them as, ignore them and think they're blank spaces. So you can next through this once you get your email address, then you have to do your certificate setup here. And this install portion is just to get the web page up so you can configure the rest. Next through here, you need a database user, and they're really strict on the password here. So even if it's not based on a dictionary password for some reason, I thought it was. And once you get it done, say next, and it'll download and install SUSE Manager here, is what it's doing. This will be my last video on SUSE Manager because it does not really do what I wanted it to do. I was hoping it would be a replacement for vCenter. And what I was reading led me to believe that it would be. But after I got to the point where I got to the interface, I noticed that it really wasn't, unless you're an all Linux environment, which is not the case in most places. I'll have Windows. This utility can do stuff with the Linux VMs. You can import the SLES hypervisors in here, and it will read all the guest VMs off of there, and you can manipulate it from this interface. But if it doesn't do it to Windows, it's only like a partial solution, so it doesn't work for me. So I'm going to pass on this one. But I'll continue through this install here and kind of get you up and going in case you're interested in installing it. Once this finishes, we'll be able to do everything else from the interface. I'm not going to do too much in the interface. I'll just show you what it looks like and give you a brief overview. I was a little disappointed when I got in there and noticed that I couldn't do Windows stuff. But it does work with just about all variations of Linux. So if you are just a Linux shop, this will work for you. So far the best thing I found is Nutanix. But that's a hyper-converged system, and I'm more of a traditional 3-2-1 architecture where I have separate compute, storage, and switches. So the closest in that regard is probably Microsoft's Hyper-V, but then the cost is pretty much up there too. I was just looking for something that's more inexpensive that does the same thing, which I don't know if there is anything. I'll keep looking. There we go, I finished it. And now you can just go to the web page here, put in the IP address or DNS name. And here you have to configure your organization. You can call it whatever you want. Manager. And figure admin credentials and password here. The thing I found out is when you register the SUSE Manager trial, it'll have like, oh, you can't use whatever email you used for that. Is not the same when you set up the connection here. There is somewhere in the portal, in the SCC portal, you'll find a different credential that you have to use. And that's not this screen here, but it's when you walk through the wizard, which comes up kind of next. Even though I don't walk through the wizard here, because I did walk through it, but I didn't. I scrapped the video for, I don't know, I was disappointed. Anyway, if you look up top there, it says Setup Wizard. You can just run through that, and it'll set up your connection to the portal, and then you'll have access to the repos. Then you can register your systems there. which are basically all your Linux boxes. You can use Salt, you can use SSH. I believe there's another method here. This will tell you what needs updating. This is pretty much a Linux management system, but it does work with VMs as well, so you can manipulate your VMs from this same pane of glass here, which is kind of neat.